everyone. It's true. I am in here at USA Global TV and Radio. Dr. JACALYN KERBECK here, the president, founder, and chief listening officer, celebrating every day as our team continues to grow. We welcome Maria Eduardo as our newest team member, as elevated listener. She's there in St. Martin. Thank you for being with us. Our show today is the United Kingdom news and culture. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're coming back, you know what you like. You're going to get all the latest, the hottest news, what's going on in the United Kingdom. And you're going to be getting it from our expert correspondents. We have an incredible panel of people. Let's bring them out. Joining us from Texas in the United States of America, it's internationally celebrated author, queen of networking, DIANN Wellbeing.
Good morning, Dr. JACALYN.
Hello. So good to see you.
Thank you.
And our three expert correspondents between them have done thousands of broadcasts around the world on practically every major network there is. And they are heart-centric people. They are people I truly love and admire. They are all mentors and friends. Let's welcome them. Helena Chard. Hello.
Hi. How is everyone?
Hi.
Great.
So good to see you. Pretty in pink. And Mr. Ian Pelham-Turner, bright and yellow.
Good afternoon.
Hello. And Simon McDonald, always looking distinguished. Hello.
Thank you very much. Heart-centric or eccentric? I'm not quite sure which you mean.
They're both good. I like them. Well, as we know, we have so much fun on this show. We just kind of speak from our hearts, share news, and share different points of view. And I'm just really grateful to all of you for being here and taking this time. So thank you.
I've just noticed this afternoon that we have heritage this afternoon. So we have heritage from Wales with Helena. We have heritage from Scotland with Simon. We have heritage from me from England. And we have heritage from the two of you from America. So it's a heritage time as well, isn't it, today?
Happy Heritage Day.
Again.
And it's also a famous day, isn't it, Helen? I think you're going to tell us about it.
It's an amazing, it's St. Andrew's Day. So it's a very exciting time, especially to our lovely friends in Scotland. And it's basically celebrating the patron saint of St. Andrews. And I think it's a lovely day to discuss all the things that we love about Scotland and all the yummy things, etc., that everybody's going to eat, I would imagine, later this evening. But I think also that I believe St. Andrews is the patron saint, not just of Scotland. I think it's Barbados, Georgia, Cyprus, Malta, lots of different places as well. So it's quite interesting. And the one thing I gleaned, I mean, I don't know everything about it, but is that the patron saint, St. Andrew, basically it was all about, the philosophy was taking what you have and giving to people less fortunate than yourselves. So there's something, it's something great to celebrate. And I think, I don't know. I think maybe somebody else could glean a little bit more or share a little bit more about it. I
just wondered, does that go as far as smoked salmon?
We started. Here we go.
Simon, will you please send him the smoked salmon, please? We're begging you at this point.
Might get some fish.
It was just a question.
I'm very dull, sure, if I did that. You know, we have nothing to learn about them. Yes, no, St. Andrew, patron saint of Scotland, great character. Two great Scottish celebrations. Well, there's actually three if you include Hogmanay, which is New Year's Eve. I mean, that's the Whiskey Olympics if there ever was one. But St. Andrew's Night and Burns Night, we celebrate both those nights with everything we've got. A lot of haggis consumed and a lot of whiskey drunk on St. Andrew's Night and on Burns Night in particular, which is not till January. So we've got a chance to recover a little bit from the onslaught of St Andrew's night, followed by Hogmanay, then followed by Burns night, and we've got the rest of the year to really try and recover after that. So a curious fact, St Andrew was, he was actually crucified, and the Scottish flag, the saltire, is a blue background representing the sky, and then a cross is going diagonal like that. And he didn't want to be crucified on a cross that went like that, so he wanted to go on a cross that went like that. So that was incorporated in the saltire. How true it is, I don't know, but it certainly it is well spoken of, in records going back a long, long way. So there we are, another strange fact about it all.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
We want to say hello to Iravini Mooney and Corky Whitaker. Thanks for being with us today. So
there was one. Oh, sorry. I just wanted Simon. There's I was just something I was reading about, because Bailey's isn't necessarily a Scottish drink, but apparently a lot of people are going to be drinking the Scottish version of Bailey's this evening. Yeah. And so in my head, I'm thinking, is that, obviously it must be sort of cream, whatever it is, liqueur with Scots whiskey, I imagine.
Absolutely, yes. Bailey's is an Irish thing. Only in Scotland can we spell whiskey without the e at the end. It's WHISKY rather than EY. And it sort of gives a bit of the provenance to the product. So yes, there are actually quite a number of different versions of Bailey's, which is obviously it was the market leader, and it's well known all the world over. So basically, it's a malt whiskey with double cream in it. Delicious. It's really nice. Love cooking with it as well. I mean, you can do so many different things. Makes a fabulous hot creamy sauce to go over ice cream or something like that, or pudding. It's absolutely delicious. So yes, it has its place in my culinary repertoire.
I get a feeling that it's 9 fingers of whiskey and 1 tablespoon of cream.
No. Sorry, it's not, Ian. We've got 10 fingers. 1 of cream.
So I have a question, of course, as we always sort of go into the food category at some point when we're on this show. When you are indulging or imbibing, are you relishing it, or the whole time are you saying, why am I eating this? I shouldn't be eating this. I'm going to be gaining so much weight. Or do you go, yes, hallelujah, let me celebrate. And then you go and start beating yourself up. How do you handle it?
Well, I mean, I'll cook what people want. I mean, if they come up and give me a bizarre menu to present to them, if I'm doing a show, then I think, yeah, maybe I wouldn't eat that, but I will do it, and I will put the passion into it that I would put into my favorite food as well. Naturally, I prefer to cook what I like, because then I know I'm really putting my heart and soul into it far more than cooking something I don't particularly like. That's just the nature of the beast, and I will cook what people want and what I'm asked to do. I might tweak it a bit and put my own slant on it, make it just that little bit. Here we go to the eccentric bit yet again, and funnily enough, there's always a bit of alcohol involved in it. I can't think why. There we are. Keeps the cold out.
And Simon, when you're eating a decadent meal that you prepared or someone else prepared for you, are you just reveling in it, or the whole time are you beating yourself up while you're eating it?
It was probably beating my waistline up. I do use a lot of cream in my cooking as well. Double cream. When you're cooking with cream, use double cream, not single cream, because single cream can split. Double cream, it's pretty bulletproof. You can do what you like with it. And I enjoy eating. I just enjoy eating, full stop. But I enjoy eating what what I've prepared. I don't extol the virtues of it, you know, if I've got company and, you know, having a dinner party or anything like that, because it's a bit like blowing your own bugle, and it's, you know, it's not nice. So I just hope that my guests enjoy what I've done. I do a little bit of research beforehand just to get an idea of what people like and what they don't like, so that I don't include anything that they don't like, unless I don't particularly like that person. And then all hell gets let loose. But,
well, we certainly know that Ian likes smoked salmon, so
yeah, if I was inviting Ian for dinner, I think I'd have a very comprehensive menu. It might not include smoked salmon, but
oh, Ian.
I would have a little goodie bag for him later on at the end of the meal and say, oh, by the way, I forgot to include this in the meal. Here you are, take it away and enjoy it by yourself. You know, only if I was feeling really guilty about it.
Do you know what? I think we better move on to another royal story from Helena.
Perhaps a good idea. I might finish up in the tower.
I think actually we should carry on celebrating, because England is through to the World Cup knockouts. Obviously, we've been celebrating in Qatar, which is really good. Last night the game was with Wales, and the commiserations to them. We won 3-0, but 3-0. But I'm not really a football fan, although I enjoy it from now and then. And yeah, I was celebrating. But I think for me, which was quite funny, because I over the years have worked with lots of different lookalikes and artists at events and virals and things. But a chap called Neil Rowe, he is a Gareth Southgate lookalike, a very good Gareth Southgate lookalike. But he was over there, and he basically has duped lots of the media channels over there, as he's obviously taken on Gareth's whole facade. And they were interviewing him about how does he think that England's going to do, and he was sort of saying, yeah, I'm quietly confident with the team. England's going to beat, to win on Sunday. And it's amazing how he could just go around and do it. I found it really funny. And I think another thing that I found funny as well is that our team, and I don't know, I suppose other teams, they're staying in a sort of mid-range hotel, and obviously it's alcohol free, but all of their wives are staying on this amazing, I think it's called MSC World Europa, but it's this huge, great big boat where they're all partying, and obviously there's loads of alcohol, and they're all having great times in the pools and everything. What is it? What do you call it? A complete mind blank. I was about to say a ferry. No, not a ferry. A cruise ship, a big cruise ship. That's it. Yeah. So there's been lots of funny games and lots of little funny stories that people have been sharing since being in Qatar. So that's quite good fun. But yes, I mean, one thing I think everyone's probably heard about the late Queen, and how it was just slightly sad, but obviously that she was ill towards the end. She had bone marrow cancer, but it was surprising to actually learn this through Giles Brandreth, who's a great commentator. He's fabulous, love him. He knew the late Queen quite well, as he knows Queen Consort incredibly well. So he released that in his new book, which has been released, I think, in the Daily Mail. So that's a biography of the late Queen. But I sort of felt quite sad to learn that. And they really did keep that under wraps. It's incredible that we're hearing now. I don't know what Ian thinks about it, but yeah, it's a strange one. I think it is something as well. I think bone marrow cancer is something that you get later on in life. So it's not so unusual, but it's sad. I don't like to think of her in pain, and it obviously it's I think back to some of the occasions that she attended in public, and you could sort of visually see she was uncomfortable. So now we know why. Yeah. So that's slightly sad, but there you go.
I wish you would keep on referencing older people.
What's wrong?
Every time you reference, because then I feel you're talking about me.
No, you're young.
Are your parakeets still?
You're as young as you feel.
There you go. There you go.
Are your parakeets still appearing over the balcony to see if you're all right, Ian?
Yeah.
Do you know, I actually witnessed it. I did witness it. I was with Ian the other day, and he actually, the parakeet turned around and looked in the window. Incredible.
Wow.
It's
Are you giving
madness.
them your address so they can find you there?
And there's 4 of them. There's 4 of them as well. That there's this quadruple effect, and of course, of a night time, it's quite strange because you can hear this tip 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 tapping, on the ceiling, and and so. But as I say, why on earth they're looking down at me, I don't know, for any reason at all, and how they've come into the area. I suppose I think there was a history about parakeets in parts of southern England that were released, and this must be the offspring, from these parakeets. But they're quite. I mean, it's like living on a South Sea island at the moment, as far as they're concerned, because as I say, that they come so fast in. It's an amazing thing to watch them. They come flying into the wall, and I'm thinking, my God, they're going to kill themselves, and they seem to just disappear into the roof. So there you go. That's it. Just gets to show you how when you get older in life, little simple things like that seem to sort of bring more relevance to your life as well.
That's the latest, folks, in parakeet news. Thank you.
Oh dear.
Yes, you'll need to invite them onto the show, I think.
They have to sign a waiver, though. I'm just saying, everyone does.
Yes, that's it. A little parakeet-shaped box just right in between the 2 of us there just now.
There you go.
What's worse is that I think we seem to have a lot of not seagulls, but we have a lot of other birds, pigeons. Sorry, where I live at the moment, and there's a particular pigeon who seems to take it very funny for about 3 o'clock in the morning to walk along the ledge of my bedroom window. And it's quite unnerving. So, you can wake up. When it first started happening, there was this sort of noise, and I thought, I'm not going to open the curtains. I'm not going to open the curtains. I've seen too many Dracula movies. But for some reason, why it chooses my windowsill, I do not know. But have I got up a very quick story that years ago, when I was married and I was living with my in-laws' house one night. So we'd had a great party, and a lot of alcohol was consumed. And I got to the bedroom where Leslie, my former wife, and I were staying the night. And I was waiting for the room to stop. First of all, I'd had that much to consume. And so I thought, well, the only thing to do is I got into bed and I turned the television on. I thought I just need to have something to concentrate on, because I was starting to feel the effects of alcohol. Simon might know about this bit, and it was a Dracula movie that was on. This is later night, Dracula movie on, and so anyway, I turned the movie off, went to sleep, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, bearing in mind we're about 30 feet up, there's this tap 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 on the window, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what is it? Tap 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 on the window, tap 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 on the window, and I'm thinking, if I open these curtains up, and if it's Dracula, you're going to see a Turner shape through the wall as I escape, and I open the curtains up, and to my surprise, and to this little bird's surprise as well, we were both staring at each other through the window, and sometimes when you sort of get experiences like that, it's quite unnerving to have someone tap on your window at 3 in the morning. I don't know. Has anyone else had an unnerving experience like it?
Well, it could be. It could have been worse. You could have been watching Hitchcock's The Birds.
That's a classic.
That is a classic. Nope, I have not had that experience.
I
I'll
haven't
pass.
either.
Yeah.
The
I
oven was
had
making
the
noises
experience.
last night, some kind of beeping noise, F60, whatever that means. So I had to get up and turn it off, and then it went on again. So no birds, just an oven.
Just another.
Yes, I had the experience of a bat coming into the room one night. I don't particularly like bats. I could never manage all one, but oh boy, I inspected every square inch underneath the bedclothes that night. I really didn't. I didn't emerge until dawn. It was eventually, actually, I did get rid of it, but they're scary things to deal with at night. You everything sort of runs through your mind. You hear all these stories. It's going to fly into your hair and get stuck there. That's when I had a little bit more for it to get stuck in. But apparently that's not true. But no, I mean, talking about them flying into your hair and getting stuck into it. These sort of things do tend to spook you a bit. So I did get rid of it in the end and managed to get it back out of the window. But yes, it woke me up.
I would say that's a wake-up call. I just wondered, have you ever prepared a bat meal?
Oddly enough, I had a request when I had my smoking business. I mean, I used to smoke just about anything but cigarettes, and we smoked alligators from Louisiana. We had ostrich come in from South Africa, kangaroo from Australia. You name it, we did the lot. But I did have a request to smoke Peruvian fruit bat on one occasion, and I had figured out a suitable recipe for it. But fortunately, there weren't many fruit bat hanging around in the West Highlands, so that was it. So I managed to wriggle out of that situation. But it would have been interesting. Seemingly, Peruvian fruit bat is quite a delicacy in the likes of Bolivia and these places. So I thought, not my cup of tea.
Well,
yeah, I'm living a bat-free life myself. Ian?
Yeah, I was just going to say, apparently, where I'm moving to, and Helena will know this as well, is that apparently that there is a resident cat that comes in. So Helena can probably tell me a little bit more about the resident cat.
That's going to be your new cat, Ian. She's lovely. We'll have to show. We'll have to take some photographs to bring them on the show. There's a cat flap, and it's the local gorgeous cat. You'll absolutely love her. I'm not going to say too much more because Ian can share the story shortly in the next few weeks. He thinks I'm joking. I'm not joking.
Oh, that's it. I know you're not. So I think I'll have to get the double cream out, won't I? No.
Only 9 fingers for you, not the 10. Diane, you're on mute.
Sorry. That cat will really purr with double cream for sure.
Oh, yeah. Little Baileys will do you.
Yeah.
Helena, a question I have for you. I've been reading about a number of books. You talked about one. There are a number of books that are coming out about the royal family. So anything more you can share about this? Was this all planned accordingly in terms of the timing?
I think so. I think people always, I think it's one of those things people think, oh, I want to write a book, or people will collate lots of information and store it up and work towards writing a book. And then you might not have when you're going to release it exactly, but then you'll work to the best time that it can be released. And I do think certain information is released. Well, how do I say it? Almost like they release information to the world so that everyone knows certain things before maybe someone else will release information in a different way. So it's quite tactical as well.
And of course, there's the Harry's book at the moment, due to coming out, isn't there? But I think that's
the thing.
And of course, as well, is that there's an American visit by our royal family, isn't there, Helena?
There is American. Oh, right, we were talking about the Prince and Princess of Wales. who are expected to meet Biden on Friday, I think.
Yes.
If that's what you mean, Ian. So I'm hoping that everyone's looking forward to seeing the Prince and Princess of Wales. It's quite hard, really, because they've changed their names recently. So obviously the Prince and Princess of Wales, that's Prince William and Kate Middleton. For people, it's quite hard because it was the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. But obviously, since the Queen's passing, it's changed. But yes, they're going to be in America. They're actually, the main reason though is Prince William is going to be giving out awards for the Earthshot Prize, and we've covered that quite a bit, haven't we, on this show? Isn't it lovely? So I mean, some of these people, oh my goodness, they're going to be receiving prizes, but wow, what entrepreneurial people. Incredible what they have thought up, really, to help our environment. So I'm really excited, I'm sure everyone is, to learn about all these wonderful things and all the environmental issues as well that everyone's going to be helping. Is amazing. But it just so happens, I think, that Biden's going to be, am I being silly? Biden's going to be, they're both going to be in Boston, basically. So they will meet somehow. Do you know more about it, Ian? I'm not too sure. I know the basics of that.
I think it's like any, obviously with someone as prominent as that in town. And, I don't know that much about American politics, but I guess that at the moment I hear allegedly that his popularity is not quite as strong as it was at the start of his presidency, and perhaps, any photographic opportunities that they can get, and especially with with the royal family, and obviously with the Netflix series going on as well at the moment, it's a good photo opportunity for him as well. But I think quite genuinely, he's got a fondness for Great Britain, especially Northern Ireland, and so I suppose when they come into town, it may be that who knows, he may be creating a secret summit with Harry and William. Who knows?
Interesting.
How about throwing that grenade into the royal?
Helena, I just wanted to say that the Earthshot Prize has always been, and it still is, one of my favorite clips. I mean, so much work went into that. And when you look at the evolution of technology and even what's going on in the healthcare industry, and then all the leaders from across the world, it's truly amazing.
It is fabulous. I love it too. And the whole idea behind it. And I just think it's super. It's super. And long may it last. I think we'll have lots of these prizes going on and on and on. So yeah, it's exciting. I mean, there's been loads of other royal things, but it's funny. I mean, you were talking about Ian throwing the grenade in and everything, but one of the most recent things I think that's happened today that's come out, which saddens me. I mean, Queen Camilla, consort Camilla, she's fabulous. I mean, she's really, I really find her such a strong woman and so funny. She talks to everyone and she does a lot of good. And one of the things that she has always been trying to prevent is violence against women and girls. This is something she supports all the charities, has done for 10 plus years. And recently, I think the other day, that she held a fabulous reception at Buckingham Palace to shine a light. And let's be honest, the royal family do well at that. It's always great to be able to support different charities, as we know. But the sad thing that's happened, it came out via social media, is one of the ladies that attended, her name's, I think, Ngozi Fulani, and she has her own charity. She's a black lady. She was going along to join in all the talks and everything, but I believe somebody who worked at the palace, who I think is possibly Prince William's godmother, so she is of a certain age, I think she's in her 80s, she asked her where she was from. This is where it started. And I think Ngozi was saying, she's British, her charity's in Hackney, but she kept pushing, where are you from? And it became a bit of an awkward situation, which has now been viewed as racism. I don't, I can't, you can't judge if you're not within the situation, but obviously it's all over social media. So this wonderful reception, which was to do such good, has now been sort of overtaken by this racist comment, which was pushing Ngozi to say where she's from. The lady that in question, I think she wanted to know what her heritage was, but obviously didn't deal with the situation very well and made Ngozi feel very awkward. From my point of view, when does curiosity become insults? When I was younger, I mean, I have Greek Cypriot in my father's side of the family, and I remember being at school and everyone saying, "Where are you from? Where are you from? What's." And I'd say, I'm British, I'm this and that, but they'd say, but what, where are you from? Where's your dad from? Where's your family from? And people always used to push it, but it was just because they wanted to know. They thought I looked a little bit different to them, some of them, and they wanted to know that about me. I didn't take that as being racist. I didn't take it as being, oh my goodness, why are they asking me these things? It's so rude. What does everybody think? I'm just sort of throwing this into the arena because I do see that this is a woman of a certain age, and she maybe hasn't been so PC. We're in this woke world, aren't we now? And it's I don't think I personally don't see it as being racist. That's what I feel. That's probably what I'm trying to put across.
But the real story behind it was that this lady, who was also a great friend of the Queen as well, she wouldn't believe that this woman came from Britain. And then she got hold of the woman's hair and moved the woman's hair to look at the badge that she was wearing as well, to find out where she was coming from.
Wow.
So she moved the woman's hair, that was covering the name badge. She literally, moved the woman's hair and pulled the woman's hair so that she could see where she came from, and that's what's caused the problem. That
So when you say that, what do you mean? But you put the fact that she touched her hair, or the fact she wanted to see what charity she was from? Because they're all based.
It wasn't the charity. She was, according what the allegations are, and so you've got to, as we always say on these situations, because it's it could be legally promiscuous, to actually talk about, the reason behind it. But the lady resigned now. She's resigned from the royal household as a royal aide. But from what I gathered just from reading about it, is that this lady wouldn't accept the ethnicity of the charity lady, and she thought she was from an African thing. And when the lady says, "No, I'm actually British, I was born in Britain," she didn't believe her, and then moved the hair away to see where she was from. Now, if that allegation is true, then the lady of the charity took it as an insult upon herself.
Yeah, in my vote, it doesn't matter what color you are at all, because at the end of the day, if you cut yourself, it's the same red blood that comes out of you. So on that basis, we're all the same. It's just slightly different pigmentation of the skin.
And you see what it's leading into at the moment is there was a quote from Harry and Meghan's supporters as well in America, apparently, saying this is just another form of racism within the royal family, and that's what's built the row over the past 24 hours. So Harry and Meghan's team are still saying this is just another version of racism that Meghan faced when she was.
No. I don't agree with that. And when you mentioned about the badge, basically people have their names and they have the charity that they're from on their badges. So I don't know what you were talking about, what she was gleaning from the badge.
Well, no, it would have had where she came from.
No, not where she came from. When you say where she came from, it's the charity that she's part of, not where she's physically born. Not her. Not her. I don't know. What have you? I think you've misunderstood that.
Not her heritage.
Do we know
Yes,
for
not her heritage,
certain
exactly.
that the name badge didn't have the country? Because many times, if you go somewhere, it will have where you're from. You know, United
Yeah.
States. I don't know. Does anyone have that information?
It's I think the charity's called African something, isn't it? The so
I would just
details.
just see.
But it was just I think where it moved from just being inquisitive to being what the charity worker thought was insulting was when she moved the hair of the woman that was covering the badge, and she deliberately moved the hair so that she could see where she was from or what it was, and the woman found it insulting.
So she violated her personal space. Is that what the issue
I
is?
think
That's what the allegation is. I don't know, as I say, not being there and not.
Yeah, I think I brought this into the arena, and I wish I'd known exactly what happened, because I that's one of my bugbears. I don't like half a story, and I think when it's something as important and as accusation as racism, I don't think any of us could sit here and just sort of be a bit lackadaisical about it. I feel sorry that I've actually brought it up now, because I from my point of view, I just think it's a woman of a certain age. And I do agree that she obviously came over in a rude manner and made Ngozi feel awkward, and that's wrong. I get that, but I think now it opens the doors of racism and this and that, and I don't see it like that. I really don't. I mean, this is a woman in her 80s. I don't agree with what she's done and the fact that she's made her feel awkward, but asking where you're from. And maybe pushing a little bit too much is not something to just suddenly throw the racist card. I don't agree with that, because again, it just starts a fight, doesn't it?
Yes,
it
does.
And I don't agree with that. I really don't. It upsets me, because African heritage, who cares really where everyone's from? I just love meeting people that have different beliefs, religions. We're all, it's just lovely learning about different cultures with such a diverse place, and it's very upsetting to hear it. I think I'm going to look into it more now. That's what I know.
Watch this space. Well, the other royal story that I've picked up on this week was Prince William's and Kate's daughter, Charlotte, is to be apparently made the Duchess of Edinburgh. And this follows on because before the Queen was Queen, she was actually Duchess of Edinburgh, and then, of course, got married to Philip, who became Duke of Edinburgh. So the speculation was that Prince Edward was to become the Duke of Edinburgh and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. But seemingly this title is now going to Charlotte, who, after all, I think she's third in line to the throne. So they like to keep it as close to the throne as possible.
Fascinating.
That brought a big silence on.
No, I heard that.
Sorry, Ian and Helena, I've stolen your thunder there.
I mean, you've told me something that's so interesting, because I never knew that the Queen was the Duchess of Edinburgh. So there you go. And obviously that's why the Duke of Edinburgh became the Duke of Edinburgh. I think it's I mean, the issue is that they carry so many titles. A lot of the time, it's very difficult to keep up with them all.
The pack. Yes. But I feel I've topped the royal commentators.
I did hear it, Simon. I have heard
it. all the way from Scotland.
So, is there like a big ceremony when someone receives a new title, and they're just a child? Do they
You
still
get,
have
you get a bit of paper to say, here you are.
She's not going to walk up the aisle or anything.
I don't know. I mean, sort of keeping it in the family like that, you know, I mean, it's okay. It comes out the Christmas cracker. Who's got what title this time?
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep up with all the royal, you know, the different royal things happening because, you know, I know we're always very fond of food, and of course the one of the things that you know is constantly changing as well are by royal appointments, and these are very sought after badges set by the royal family. That they can actually bestow to products, and it can go anything from red sauce to jams to teas to all sorts of things. And I've got a feeling, I don't think I'm wrong, I've got a feeling there's something like about 700 different royal appointments. And I've got a feeling a lot of the royal appointments are actually in Balmoral, aren't they? Or the town next to Balmoral, because virtually every single shop owner, I forget the name of the town now, you'll know, Simon, that has served the royal family for so long that they're virtually all royal appointments. Or have I got that wrong, Simon?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the Royal D-side has got Braemar and Ballater are the biggies. And yeah, absolutely right. I mean, above the butchers, the newsagents and all the rest of it, they have the coat of arms and by royal appointment to whichever, be it the Queen, the King, Prince of Wales, Duke of Edinburgh had his own, the Queen Mother had her own, you know, and lineage for that, for royal appointment to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother. And so it goes on. So yes, there are quite a few. I mean, even for people who supply smoked salmon. Yeah. So that, and Harrods, of course, there was great controversy over this wonderful store Harrods when Mohammed Al Fayed had the store, and at the end of the sort of gable, it had the royal appointment to Queen Mother and to the Duke of Edinburgh and to Prince of Wales and to Her Majesty the Queen. And of course, the controversy that kicked up after the death of Diana, he lost all his royal appointments, and he gave the last one back. He said, well, if you're taking any more off me, I'll give you the last one, that's it. And the store sales plummeted after that. I mean, you know, having that prestige of the royal warrant does attract a lot of extra business to you. And if you lose that, and it's very easy to lose them, then you know, you'll find, you know, your sales drop off because people are buying because it is by royal appointment. It's the ultimate quality stamp you could have for your business. And if you've got multiple warrants, then I mean, that's just even better still. So yes, I mean, there's all warrants for all manner of means of product. And I think Rolls-Royce lost their royal warrant because BMW bought them out. And so it then became a German company instead of you know, a British company. And yet Rolls-Royce still has that, you know, great British traditional connotation about it, but it's a badge engineered BMW now, and even Bentley as well, which again was always you know, top quality mark in the UK. The Bentley Continentals, for example, Mirage, it's basically a Volkswagen gearbox they've got. You know, so it's sort of burst the bubble a little bit there.
I didn't know that about any of those things. What about Harrods? Who owns Harrods now?
Not me. I mean, I used to supply quite a lot of smoked foods into Harrods when I had a smokehouse. And there was one day I was doing a television show in food hall. Food halls in Harrods are just absolutely amazing. I mean, it's like a cathedral to what is the best in food. They are just extraordinary. I mean, they really do. It's jaw-dropping when you go in to see these places. And the fish hall as well is exceptional. The head buyer there at that time was a chap called Dennis Linscott, and Dennis was about 6'5", and very, very suave, and he always wore his morning coat and you know, and tails and what have you, and always a fresh cut carnation in the pocket. And he would go through the Billingsgate Fish Market every morning about 5 o'clock, and it was like the parting of the waves. Everybody would step aside. He was buying royalty, basically. Everyone would step aside to let Dennis Linscott go through, and he would get the pick of the fish in Harrods. Well, I was doing the show for a television company, not USA Global TV, for John, in Harrods, and I was demonstrating slicing salmon. And Mohammed Al Fayed would do his round of the stores every day, and he stopped off to watch what I was doing. I was slicing away on the salmon. So that was it. So the day went on, and at 5 o'clock, I got a call down to the fish hall. He said, Mr. Al Fayed would like to see you in his office. And I thought, oh, what have I done wrong? So I went up to his office, and this magnificent ormolu desk, absolutely gorgeous thing, big as well, filling the room, and this little man with a big persona sitting behind it, and all that was on the top of the box, the desk, was this long box. So he said, yes, Simon, I was watching your slicing salmon. I've never seen salmon sliced so delicately like that, and so thinly. So it was wonderful to watch, and I would like to give you this. And he opened the box, and it was a salmon slicing knife with Harrods monogram emblazoned along it or etched into it. So thank you very much.
Wow.
I have relief that thank goodness I haven't done something wrong. And I took it away. A knife that's a bit like a glove. If it fits, it fits. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Well, this knife fitted me perfectly. And I still have that knife to this day. And I reckon it has done over 2 million slices of salmon now by hand. And it's still going strong. It's it's one of my most treasured possessions, this knife that Al Fayed gave me. And it was one of the few knives that people haven't stuck in my back.
Wow.
Now, this is what we don't see on the crown,
nice.
okay? This is what I want to know about. This is real. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great story.
story.
Really great. Oh.
He was a strange person in some ways, Al Fayed. I met him once, and I had to do a photograph with him. Because he was going to build a bank in the basement of Harrods for some reason. And then he insisted on taking me upstairs to show me he wanted to have a mausoleum on the roof of Harrods, and that's where he wanted to be buried. And he'd created this pyramid look to the mausoleum on the roof of Harrods. And he was struggling to get planning permission for this. And so anytime any media came in, he'd always take them upstairs to show him the plans in the hope that someone would actually do a story that would support his opinion that he could have his own mausoleum on the roof of Harrods.
Wow.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Wow. I looked it up, by the way. It's Harrods is currently owned by the state of Qatar via its sovereign wealth fund, Qatar Investment Authority.
Whoa.
Okay. Interesting.
They've got branches all over the place now. Just about every airport you go into has got a Harrods now, certainly in London, which I feel in a way is slightly devalued. I mean, there's just something special. If you're going to Harrods, everyone knows where you're going.
Right.
It's not just like going to Walmart. Which Walmart? I mean, there's thousands of them. You're going to Harrods. You are going to Knightsbridge. You're going to one of the greatest department stores in the world, and probably one of the most famous department stores in the world. So now that it's I feel it's devalued it by having these airport pop-up shops and so on with the Harrods labels. There's something very special, and the history behind Harrods is very, very special.
And if memory serves me correctly, they still have horse-drawn carriages to deliver some of the food. I don't think I'm wrong in that. That they still have their own carriage team.
I think they've got a couple of those, and they've also got Rolls-Royce delivery vans.
Have they?
Yeah.
Do we know anyone at Harrods we could bring on an interview?
I don't know.
They would have to go through the PR system.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like they're nightmares. One of my best friends at one time was a designer in Harrods. Some of her haute couture was sold in Harrods as well. It is that it's like any of these big corporates. It's something we were discussing recently with Alcini as well, that sometimes these big corporates, they take so long to get through to the different departments through the PR system. You could be waiting 6 months for an answer.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And by the way, Ian, I just want to thank you. We're featuring one of your friends from the fashion industry here on Fashion, Travel, and Fitness, Maria, on Friday.
Excellent. Well, she's such a lovely person, and she really deserves. Helena met her recently as well. And she's such a lovely person, and she so deserves it. And I think, she took a lot of risk coming to Britain from Eastern Europe to actually set her designs. And the interesting thing from Simon's point of view is that all her designs actually have Scottish tweed, and that's what she designs with. And so she works with tweed manufacturers. So it's the time of night, I haven't got my,
The pigeons are coming. The pigeons are coming.
There, I think he's not telling. Every time he goes out of shot, there's another.
There's many white coats just knocking on the door now. That time of day, But so she is working with the tweed manufacturers in Scotland as well, and that's the sort of the basis of a lot of her clothes.
I presume that's Harris tweed we're talking about then.
I would imagine so. Yes, yeah, Harris tweed. So.
The most amazing product, the Harris tweed, made on the Isle of Harris in the Outer Hebrides. And Harris is a beautiful island, majestic mountains, and the sea lochs and so on. Absolutely spectacular place. The wildlife amazing. And it's quite small, but the Harris tweed, I mean, you see it everywhere in the world now. And it's all produced in these little croft houses. And the croft houses, I mean, they're very small, and it's all done by hand on the loom, and most of the looms, they have been passed down through generations. So it's a very, very much a real cottage industry. But they formed a cooperative of old producers, and got the Harris tweed label, which has got the orb as its logo. And it's an extraordinary material, and it's just about bomb proof, and it's quite hefty, and it is actually, a good Harris tweed is really waterproof as well, and it's so versatile. Products that are being made using Harris tweed now are just absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, not just jackets and trousers and suits and skirts and what have you, but it's gone into all sorts of different things like like handbags and purses and you name it. They've got the lot made with Harris tweed now. Amazing product with an extraordinary history behind it.
Simon, we're going to have you on Fashion, Travel, and Fitness there. That's a definite.
That's a definite.
And just to let people know, we'll be interviewing Maria Ruseva, I hope I said her name right, and Moda de la Maria. She's going to be joining us from her shop, from her studio. And it looks like we're going to have a regular segment with her. So thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
Not a problem at all.
Well, my friends, that's another wrap. And of course, as always, I'm starving after this show. I'm thinking, what can I eat? What can I drink? So thank you for that. Let's go around with some final encouraging words for today's show, starting with Diane.
Oh, my goodness. It was great to see everybody. It was so much fun to be back with the team. The whole team was here. Encouraging words. Always remember, I always like to say, remember to embrace imagination and keep love in your heart. And kindness goes a long way, along with a smile.
Oh, so beautiful, Diane. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And over to beautiful Helena Chard.
I'm just going to keep it simple. And I think basically everybody be aware and be careful. There are lots of there's lots of flu viruses and things that are flying around at the moment, and I have still got one, and they are really quite strong in the sense that everyone really needs to look after their well-being, and keep well, eat well, keep themselves safe. And even if you're out and about, do consider wearing your mask still. I really, it's something that I am doing again. Yeah, keep well, everyone.
Thank you, Helena, and feel better. And
Thank
over
you.
to the king of tweed, Simon.
Yes, indeed, I'm wearing it. There we are. Yeah, no, it's St. Andrew's night, so I'm going to really annoy Ian now, because I'm going to go through and sit down to my plate of smoked Scottish salmon, dare I say, and then haggis as well, good traditional Scottish meal, and a good single malt whiskey as well, just to wash it all down with. It's been lovely being the show again this week. Roy, I enjoyed every second of it. I only just made it today because I had a meeting with the Fisheries Minister in Parliament in Westminster in London, but online today. And I was really pushing my time to try and get everything finished up in time to do the show. I'm glad I made it. So the team was complete today. It's lovely to see everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, and we're glad that you made it. And over to the man who talks to the birds, but that's going to be changing. He's going to be talking to a cat next.
You're making me sound like the prisoner of Alcatraz, aren't you? I think, I mean, taking on board what Simon was just saying, and I've really taken on board that one of the biggest problems that we're facing this week in politics is having more wind farms on land, and there's a lot of conservative MPs, the government MPs, trying to stop this at the moment because they don't want wind farms in their backyards. But then I remember exactly what Simon was saying as well about the effects it's having on sea fishing at the same time, and nobody seems to bring that up at the moment. That we're actually could be destroying our fishing industry because of putting wind farms out to sea. So that's just a sort of a current point. But as always, it's always a great pleasure to be on this show. And I think, the next few weeks, it's coming up to Christmas. So I think every week we have to have Christmas cheer on this program. And I don't mean drink, Simon. It
was worth a try.
Some happy faces, some happy stories.
I love that.
Now, on that note, I'm going to be arranging a Christmas choir with all of us. Somebody can do the bell, somebody can do the little triangle.
Cat's chorus, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate the sharing and the caring, the education, the hope, and the inspiration. Another great episode. And thanks to all of you out there who are watching or listening. We truly appreciate you. We're signing off for now. Our next show is the Earth Show with Roland Friedel. So please do join us for that. We'll see you next week, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay healthy. Bye for now.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.